Hey guys, it's me again. So in my last video, I walked you through making a quick CentOS instance, and I didn't really touch on Ubuntu or CentOS, and I'm kind of regretting that. So really quick, I wanted to show you kind of the problems that we face when using either of those images. So I'm going to go back over here and click Launch Instance, and I'm going to create one, just going to call it Ubuntu. I'm going to do 1604 LTS, which, by the way, the upgrade path is broken, and it sucks. Not a problem for now. So, the thing that happens with them is that they are designed by default to not be accessed through any kind of a console. So that whole console thing we did in the last video is designed not to work out of the box. I don't know why they did it that way. I don't like it because personally it's a pain in the ass for us right now to try and log in with SSH keys. I probably shouldn't say ass on YouTube videos, whatever. It's a pain in the butt. It sucks. But there is a way around it. So when this guy is done spawning, I'm going to show you the problem that we have, and then I'm going to show you how to fix it. So I'm going to come over here and check out the console, because he is done. So he's still going through all the startup stuff. Takes a minute. These bigger images, they take a little bit to start up. CentOS is nice and small, so it starts pretty quick, which is nice. I gotta wait for these guys though. So it should be up in just a second. And pretty quick, you will notice that it's asking me for a username and password, of which I never set. So if you do a quick Google search for Ubuntu 1604.3 cloud image username, you'll be able to find that the login is Ubuntu. That's great, but what's the password? And that's where you get mixed results. A lot of people will tell you it's just Ubuntu, except it's not. Okay, well, what about password? Except it's not that either. So the deal is that this image actually is set not to accept passwords at all. So it's kind of weird that it's asking for one, because it actually doesn't care if you put one in or not. So we're going to go ahead and trash this image, and we're going to start over, and we're going to fix this problem. And I mentioned in the previous videos there was this nice thing called cloud config. Ubuntu SSH password OK. Sure. Cloud config gives us the power to actually change the password. So we're going to come here and set up this script. So the way it works is you have to have this line at the top. It's similar in like C and C++ to having includes, and if you're familiar with like Perl or Python, you have to do the hash bang at the top and all that stuff. It won't run without this cloud config. I've tried it so many times and spent so long pulling my hair out. But the first thing that we need to do is tell it SSH underscore pw auth true. That's going to let us actually use a password for SSH versus having to set up keys and only being able to use the keys. Next thing we want is to actually set the password. And for this, password is fine. There's another couple lines you can add. I'm not going to add them, and you shouldn't either, because what they do is they set the password never to expire. And that's a bad thing when your password lives in plain text, because this plain text is just going to get injected into this VM, and it might pass over the network, and if it passes over the network in plain text, well, somebody could get your password, and that's a bad day. So I'm going to leave it at that and launch my instance, and we're going to let that build up. So without putting in those few extra lines, it's going to ask me to change my password as soon as I log in. That's okay. That's good, because then my password will have not traveled over the network that time, and it will be only local because the console uses an encrypted connection. So if you're worried about somebody intercepting your console traffic, you shouldn't worry about it over the network. I would be more worried about somebody standing behind you. They do use encrypted traffic. We have it set specifically to work on SSL and TLS. So that's up. We're going to come over here and click on console once again. And it's going to give us the console, and it's going to take its time loading again. Oops. And we're going to wait, and we're going to wait, and there it is. So again, the default username is Ubuntu. There is actually a way to change this. It's easier just to leave it. So now if I type in password, look at that. So it's asking me to change my password. So I'll put in password, and I'll put in a new password. Ta-da! Look at that. I am logged in. ifconfig. So there I am. I've got my address. Who am I? I'm Ubuntu. Can I ping google.com? Yes, I can. So there you go. Quick and dirty. It works really great. My password is changed now, so you don't have to worry about that cloud config file keeping your passwords or anything. This does work with CentOS as well. And just for kicks and giggles, since I have a minute, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that. CentOS password. CentOS Cloud. Ooh, I've run out of space here. Let's see if it'll run on a mini. Alright, and then once again, cloud-config SSH underbar PW auth true. Password. 3 lines, that's all it takes to get you a password connection to a cloud image. Keep this in mind, if you're using another distro that supplies cloud images, they probably will also do the same funky thing where they want you to log in with SSH keys only. And this is a good way to get around that. All of these images have this special program installed called Cloud Init, and it basically does what we've just did. You can give it a configuration, and when the instance starts, it reads that configuration and it burns that configuration in, and all of a sudden you have a customized image with just a few lines of code, and you didn't actually have to log in and do any of that configuration. This is really great because you can store these configs as files, and then all you have to do is tell it which file you want the next time you want one similar. I should have done that for this password thing because I do this so often, but the other thing is that when you do it so often, you tend to remember it. So for CentOS, the username is CentOS, and once again I set the password to password, and we're going to change our password. I like long passwords. There we go. Who am I? CentOS ifconfig ping google.com. There we go. So there you have it. Quick and dirty way to use the other distros that we have pre-uploaded without having to do all the SSH workaround and all that crap. Should save you some time, and it will make it so much nicer. Then you can do fun things like actually install desktops if you want to actually have a web browser and play with web servers. So hope you enjoyed. Catch you next time.